What if this is it? What if this is it?
I feel very calm when you say that.
Because if you cannot access the past and future, what is here right now?
It touched me somehow. Like it makes me almost like sad.
Hmm.
Like that. All this trying.
Yeah, man.
Some. It's like new ground. Some surprise, amazement, or surprise. Some almost like a shock. Almost.
Yeah. Mm.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It's, just makes me super calm. Just saying that. What if nobody knows?
The Purple Brother.
Purple brother, that's me.
Awesome, man. Awesome. 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 To give this for your birthday, this is like, it's also a gift to me to be able to give that to you. It's like,
I, lo- I love it.
me
I
too.
like the quality of your voice. It works really well with the podcast microphone. I
Ah,
don't have earrings in, but it sounds almost like you're talking directly in my ears, you know?
I've never heard that. But what if I whisper like this? Is that still nice? Uh, so yeah, okay, let's first start at like how you're doing now. Like, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm coming out of a relationship,
Mm,
and it was very tough. We had
mm,
a lot of conflict all the time, and people were saying to me, "Hey, you don't look happy," and
mm.
I was in denial.
In denial.
Yeah,
Mm,
I was in denial that I was not happy there because it meant I would have to hurt her and also be alone again, both which I didn't want to do or be. So I was denying the truth of the situation, which was that it was not, yeah, healthy, and we were just a lot of triggers all the time.
mm, mm, mm.
Uh, Sometimes two people are not fitting well together. It seems.
Sometimes.
It seems like two people are not meant to be together,
Mm, mm,
even though they are enjoying it. On some level, we were, on some level, it was nice.
yeah.
A lot of good things also. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's been a few months, and I've kind of uh, going through that process because we were together kind of 2 years, living together also.
Mm.
And I always take my time for, I'm not the person who moves on quickly.
Oh. Mm,
I used to be, but it changed a lot.
mm,
Uh, so I take my time to feel, and then if it's still something there, then I take my time to feel that before I move on.
mhm, mhm.
Um, so it's has been in some ways it was very good period since we broke up because the fighting was gone. So there was a lot of like that's good, a lot of it's more healthy.
Yeah. What does fighting get you? If it's play, like if it's playing and fighting, it is a different thing than like serious fighting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard also feedback from people that there was always tension between us.
Oh.
You know, it was like uncomfortable to be around us.
Mm. Oh, whoa.
Uh,
Mm.
you know, and this denial, it's so interesting. Like, no, I don't want to see that part. It means this relationship is not working, and it means facing the consequences of that. And
Yeah. Hmm.
so, so I'm going through now. If you have what I find, I had such an intense period. Now I need a lot of relax.
Yeah.
So I started avoiding a little bit people who trigger me a lot,
You started
avoiding some people in my
the
life
tr the trigger you.
because also I was not aware of how I was allowing my boundaries to be crossed a lot. And this
You wasn't
relationship,
aware of how your boundaries were crossed.
yes,
Mm.
throughout my life, I wasn't aware how much of a too nice guy I was, to the extent that some people don't really know actually who I am.
Mm.
They were in my life, but they have no clue who I am.
Wow.
And because I wasn't showing myself also, so it's
Hmm. Yeah,
self-created.
yeah, because they cannot even get there because you like that part is like hidden, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I found out I'm from a insecure family
Mm.
where it's a lot of unsafety
Mm.
to share our truth. And so I attracted people who carry the same kind of narcissistic shielding, let's say.
Yeah.
Uh, and I did the same with them, not sharing my truth with them. And I started avoiding those people. And it was very clear. Some people I had it very clearly, like very big no, no, no. And some people very big yes, yes, yes. Because I felt, that's actually a healthy relationship, what it's supposed to be. And this is actually unhealthy. Oh, now I see it. And it's like a big aha. But it's kind of difficult that some people are really not resonating anymore.
Yeah.
And then what do you do, you know? Um,
Yeah. What do you do?
yeah, yeah. And I took a lot of time alone as well.
Mm.
In conclusion to this part of how I reacted to the breakup period, I had a lot of time alone to and because I need that. But it's at the same time it's hard. It's not easy to be alone.
Hmm.
I'm thinking a lot about my time in India now when I was meditating with the monks, you know,
Yeah.
and they were saying about how some people they go on a year-long retreat alone in the forest and just somebody brings them food 2 times per day, but they don't talk. They just put the food there and then walk away, you know. And some people are there for 3 years.
Wow.
And they said, if you as a soul are advanced enough, then you can do this. Only then.
If you're advanced enough.
Yeah, if you are practiced enough, something
You
like
fit
that.
in
They
this
said,
box, you might get
yeah,
it.
then you might get it. And so I remember thinking to myself, I should learn to be alone longer because now I can do 6 hours or 12 hours and
Mm.
I already start to feel a bit lonely. So and even in India, I did it. I shut myself in a room for 2 days or 3 days, just to buy all the food already before, or just let my food be delivered at the door. I let my food be delivered at the door. And just a short eye contact moment with somebody who doesn't speak English, to receive the
Wow.
food, and that's it, and
Wow.
no phone, no phone, you know. Book, yes, it was allowed. Not all the time, no reading all the time, but some hours. And I feel like I'm in that phase again where, okay, now I have my life here. So I go to the supermarket and I go to my work and I take care of my house and the cat that is still living here for my ex. And but I'm taking a lot of time alone. And that's been a big challenge. And now it's like I'm coming out of that shell.
Mm.
I'm coming out. I've been in that cooker. I've been
The
being cooked.
cooker.
Yeah,
Pressure
really
cooker.
terrible.
Oh shit.
And now I'm like, no, it's not good. It's
No.
good
Hmm.
to let go of the monks. Bye, monks. Bye bye.
To let go of the monks. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. Not completely.
Yeah, yeah. The things that don't serve you in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've had this. I'm grateful for the challenge. Actually,
Oh.
I'm grateful for the challenge that I took to be alone so much. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm grateful for that. The monks, they said this to me when I was in India, and now years later, 6 years later, I'm doing it in my home country, bringing it home.
Yeah, wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, incredible. Hmm. Yeah. It's a strange thing, right? I know I remember our talk just before I went to India, right? And
Mm.
and you're like saying right now, like, I went to India and that all happened, and now like I'm home and I'm doing it at my home, right? And I also have these things like, yeah, I went to India and there's like, even without being aware of it, there's there it like it goes so fast that there's a kind of oh, I'm going to India, so this and this and this may or even will happen, right? Like there's this
Mm.
expectation thing, like
Mm.
especially then it was some things I'm like, oh yeah, 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 and then being here and then suddenly these things happen here and like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's the
Uh,
surprises, right? Of
yeah.
whatever we call it. And I did you feel complete, by the way?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for checking.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, every situation is different, but I feel you in that sense that um, every breakup is different, but we're both in that phase, so to say. Um,
Mm.
for you, it's 2 months. For me, it's around 2 weeks, a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and there have been tears, and yet there is not the story that was mostly connected to a breakup for me. And that is a story, it should be different. Because now, when that story is gone, and probably also other things, other beliefs that I had about it, I can honestly say that in comparison to, there is like I cannot even call this suffering, right? And before there was after a breakup, there was suffering. Yeah. Yeah, almost yeah, every relationship that I was in that sense, yes. Yeah, and there was at some moment there was a kind of not feeling much and a numbness. And in that, it was very easy to go to the phone and to just feel like I normally don't watch movies much, but then watching a movie and then taking a long time for it, wanting to go on and on and on with the movie. And then I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Right. So there was that kind of automatic suppressing of something and when felt what it was, there were tears again. So these things happen. Um, but the whole story, the whole like the whole thing is different. Yeah, yeah, and I'm so grateful for that. Even though there is pain at moments and there is sadness at moments, yet there's nothing in that sense to hold on to anymore, and also not in that literally to her, because there is a sense that this is right. And even that is saying too much in a kind of sense because this is just what is here. And if she wants this, then I'm like, okay. Even though I love her and I also love to be with her, and yet this is here and yeah, the beliefs about it is just not it doesn't have that grip anymore in that sense. It's yeah. It's as if a lot of it isn't even there anymore. And it's strange to me because sometimes I'm like, am I spiritual bypassing here? Like I'm just feeling love. What is this? But if there's love, then I know like right? If there is feeling in that sense, then I know, okay, this is like I'm not, I know that I'm not suppressing, and even like how can I know? But when I feel numb, then there is quite a sense that there is something that I'm not feeling, that I'm going away
Mm,
from, right? That I'm like trying to avoid, especially
yes.
when it's very nice to go to the fun suddenly. And before that, it was just not happening that like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like this is the big paradigm shift that a lot of people are going to see now. That when they're going for the popcorn or for the phone screen or for the movie or for the whatever it is,
Yeah.
actually maybe something else is going on and maybe you want to pay attention to it.
Exactly.
It's a big shift.
Yeah. 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 It's actually going away from what's here, right?
Yes.
So, how about start there now? Like, what is here, as in this instant? What is here with you? Like, is there? Let's do it in the direction of beliefs. Is there here right now any belief?
I like how you start. I never had somebody start like that. Taking just one layer and say, if there is a belief here. Yeah, there is a belief. And it's that this is very old for me,
Mm-hmm.
um, that I'm somehow less developed than other people,
Mm. Mm.
less emotionally developed,
Yeah.
somehow more less mature or
Yeah.
lagging behind in personal development, growing up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 That belief. That was also a belief with me. Yeah. 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 And there's a sense that I could even get also to it, that I could get it again. Because you're saying like it's very old. So it is connected to the past, right? And
Yeah.
before we go further in that belief, like if you if you cannot access your thoughts, so with the thoughts, go back to the past and go further into the future. If you cannot do that, if there's just now, right? Is there a past or future here now if you cannot use your thoughts? This instant. Is there past? Is there future?
Yeah.
No. So, and the only thing that we really have is this, right? This this now. So, if we go with our thoughts to past and future, if we do the, I call it the mind ping pong, right? Past, future. But if you stop right in the middle, in between, in on the net, right, of the ping pong, you stop in the middle, and you cannot go back. So, in that sense, with your thoughts to the past, that belief that was here, is there even any belief still here? If you cannot go back, no. So what's here? What
Just
is
here and now.
here now? Yeah. So what is in between thoughts and no thoughts?
Between thoughts and no thoughts. I don't know. What?
Me
My
too.
brain.
I
My
also don't
brain.
know. Same. So, what is in between mind and no mind?
Nothing.
Right? It's like you cannot even think of it, right? It kind of blanks out, right? The mind like so in this. What's wrong with this? Like, is there anything wrong with this? This.
No. No.
And is there in this even a you? Like, and beyond the concept, right? Beyond the thought you, beyond the idea, the whole thing, right? What is in between self and no self? Yeah. Is there is there even a self? As in, can you locate, oh yeah, there is like
I don't know.
I don't know too, man. And yet, there is laughter here, and there is like if I describe, and I cannot even describe it because how can I describe this, right? So I'm just using words, and the words can I don't have a sense that they can really get this and can really capture it. Yet there seems to be a flow, and it feels quite peaceful, quite mellow, quite soft, and there's quite a laughter, quite a, like it feels very free. How does it feel for you?
Yeah, I feel some constriction, like some shape here. And I felt the laughter a lot. Gone now. And there it is again.
It's like it's like just things happening, right? It's like it was gone and now it's coming again. It's just there's just a flow of things happening, like out of itself, even like without knowing what itself in that sense is, because you cannot even locate you, right? I cannot even locate me. Yet there is a flow and there are things happening, and it feels quite light and quite free.
Yeah.
So what if this is it? What if this is it?
I feel very calm when you say that.
It's like because we were
Ah,
like the trying to search for something in the future, like it can all go on and on and on and on and on, right? And will it ever be there in the future if we don't also really have that? Because the only thing we really have is now. And in this now, when this one blanks out, there's no future anymore to get to whatever. And there's no past in that sense, what we should heal from or whatever, right? Because there's a kind of sense that there's something missing, so we should develop, right? But what if there's actually nothing missing? What if this is it? Because that was just a thought, that there was something missing, right? These are just thoughts, like connected to past, connected to future, that there should be something. What if this is it? This between the words, between the blah, blah, blah. All the blah, blah, blah I say, like it's like blah, blah, blah. Everyone's just blah, blah, blahing. And some say they know this, and the other says, no, I know this. Oh, I know better. And it's just, but there's also, there's here now what I don't know. And it's amazing. As it's never been so amazing to don't know. It was scary before to not know because I thought that I had to know. But do I? That's just a belief. That's just an idea. Yet there is something here underlining all of this, underlining the words or between the words, whatever we call it, right? And it's peaceful. What if this is it?
Super calm.
Yeah.
I like when you said blah blah blah. That's funny.
Yeah. I blah 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 a lot. Oh man, I blah 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 so much. And I believed it. That's the thing, right? It was just a belief. Just an idea, just a concept, just a mind fart, a thought, a fart in the wind. Yeah. How do you feel?
Thoughts come up, I saw
Yeah.
it's just funny. You say thoughts come and then they come.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I need to say the thoughts. I can if you, but I don't know if it's relevant.
Yeah, yeah. We might as well like be silent here and just sitting. Because what's there to say? Really, like essentially. Beyond the practicalities of life, it's can be good to talk about okay, what I'm going to eat tonight, right? If you're together with a partner or whatever. Some practicalities. But essentially, what if it's all here? Yeah.
Silence.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I can stay in that forever.
yeah. Yeah. Time was a joke anyway, so and though it feels very real, right? It can feel so real, like what I did yesterday. But but then if you don't have the thoughts, you cannot even access it. It's just an endless now. It's seemingly endless. I don't even know if it's endless, right? It's just again blah blah blah. Just this.
Yeah.
And yet, it can be nice to have a talk, right? It's like it's like being a child, right? You can play with anything, but then we grew older. Like there was a time before language, right? We already know everyone. Like already, there's a. It's not even knowing, but there was a time in the joke of time, right? But I don't know how to talk about it otherwise. There was a time before language, like a year old, right? A year old when it wasn't yet there. The language didn't came in, and before that it was all like play, like right. And then language came in, and things became more serious and serious and serious, and we took it also serious the words. And but what's in between? And then from that, and that is even saying too much, you can just play with it all. Because is there anything to search for? Like on the psychological, existential, whatever we call it, level, right? Beyond the practical with food and stuff. Is there, like, what is there to search for? What sense does attending a retreat on personal development make right now? For me, not much. In the sense of that it would complete me somehow or whatever, right? Yeah. I'm so happy for you, man. I'm so happy. Yeah. Together in the I don't know. Yeah. Hmm.
But that's why you went to India, right?
That's
To
why I went to India.
to have a retreat or something like that.
I went also to a retreat. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pilgrimage to the Self, it was called. And yeah, I cannot even find one anymore. And this happened here in the Netherlands. Isn't that funny, right? um, yeah, this is funny. It's also funny. Yeah, yeah. I took it all so serious. And less and less later on, but still, yeah, these things. Yeah. So, any questions? Even though I don't know.
How long was this retreat?
Hmm?
How long was your retreat?
It was
Pilgrimage to the self.
a week, something like that. Maybe a bit longer or two. I don't really remember. Yeah, yeah. And that's also a thing, right? Before, not that much when I was around there because it became less and less, but still there were these beliefs. And one that had a pretty big grip on me was the belief that I should remember things, right? There was a kind of harshness on myself, especially when I was like around 20. Like, yeah, really harsh. I was really hard on myself. Yeah. And that I should remember. Yet now I don't remember, and I'm like, okay. Because that was just a belief. Yeah. And when I went to India, I was at the time that if there was such a belief, I should work on it, right? And then in the future, maybe there would be a moment that I'm totally worked off or whatever that is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some call them the seekers, some would, yeah, there are many names, right? And
So many names.
so many names for it. And in that sense, maybe at the end, I wouldn't like really say it that much because there was a kind of awakening there and there was a sense of coming home in myself. And yet, there were still, like, I was still in a jail, like, that I created myself of a spiritual jail, right? The jail of at least I have to eat like as less animal products as possible because it's like right the earth and my body and the impact that has on the animals and all that kind of stuff and many more beliefs that were still there in place even though there was a beautiful awakening but in that sense it was just an awakening and the difficult thing with an awakening is that there's something felt and then life goes on and then it's like okay but how to kind of get that back right how to live from that how to and but I was still like in a jail that I created myself in that sense and also so with the food and stuff like a lot of things that I eat and that I don't eat right these labels these this I can do this box fits me and this box not even though it's a spiritual box so it looks like really spiritual. I don't even know how a spiritual box looks, but we all like I developed all these things, right? And now it's like whatever. Like the thing that makes most sense is at the first place to just do whatever my body feels like doing. And I say my body, but yeah, we also talked about the eye, but I don't even know what names also to give for things, right? It's like but like I it was I think a week ago that I ate the first piece of a pork. It was yeah, it's very Dutch. Very Dutch. That what we eat with the stamppot, right? That I don't know the name anymore, but because it's so long ago, like it was at least 10 years more ago that I ate that for the last time. And I enjoyed it so much. Like it was like, oh and it was also the best kind of meat because I also love to like if the animal has had a good life that it makes me more happy that that is true and yet like that I cannot eat that like my body was like because when I enjoy it so much it just I just take it as a good sign even though that is a belief but my body is like celebrating it like oh yes so why not do it like it was just I just kept myself in that jail. And when that jail fell away, and someone also literally in a talk said like, you can just look back and you see that you're just in a field. You just created that jail, like, and you're looking through it, like right. It doesn't make any sense. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, what? But it's not, it didn't really came from here in that sense because something just, I call it poof. Like it poofs. Like with you, like
Ah.
your face was amazing at that moment. Like, and then there's this.
Yeah. Some part really loves to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's also nothing wrong with that, right? Because that's also another like, oh, now we shouldn't know anymore. Like we could also go in that run, right? But that's just another box. That's just another belief that it's either good or bad or good or wrong. It just is. But that
I love
belief
that.
that may be there cannot be even there if there's no past and future, because that is what it's rooted in. Because what's here right now? Is there any belief with you here right now?
No.
Yeah. And how does it feel?
Spacious. It's like new ground. Some surprise, amazement, or surprise. Some almost like a shock. Almost.
Yeah. Mm.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And immediately I notice my mind creeps back in.
Yeah.
And I start to cling for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I start to cling for that experience of spaciousness. Start to say, oh, that's good. That's a good experience. That's
Now
much
we want
better
to
than
have that forever.
yeah, that's what I had much better than what I had before. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
pick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so to get that one. Like I'm not that deep into it anymore, right?
Yeah.
It was so deep, and now it's like, and what?
Now, again, it's the past. It's the past as
Yeah,
was.
yeah. So what if that, all that stuff that I said and that you say here, what if that is just another belief, just another thought, and that going with that thought, with that belief, is just what keeps you from not being in what is actually here, by lack of better words, because I don't have any. Because if you cannot access the past and future, what is here right now?
It touched me somehow. Like it makes me almost like sad.
Hmm.
Like that. All this trying.
Yeah, man.
Some. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So how is that sadness without thinking about it, right? Without beliefs on it. What if you even unpeel the word sadness and you're just left with the rawness of it?
Oh, words.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And in this, with no words, there can be sadness. There can be any emotion, and yet the physicality or experience of it, whatever we call it, right, can be totally different than before. Because without the beliefs and without even resisting it, because the resistance mostly makes it way more difficult and way more heavy, right? So in that sense, it could be lighter. But even but without resistance, and even also without welcoming it, because that's the other thing that we have to welcome it, we have to welcome the emotions. And I studied as a so I became a journey therapist, which is really about that. But even that is just a belief that you have to welcome an emotion. Like child, beautiful example. Like I love children. I love to play with them. Not long ago, I was playing with them like I was a child myself. Like it's just amazing. But children, when I look at them, it doesn't seem like like a very young one, right? Doesn't seem like suppressing the emotion, but it also doesn't seem like, oh, I have to welcome the emotion now, right? No, it's just here. It's like, oh, I'm crying and it's sad and then something happens, like a touch, and like, no, I don't want that. Like there's anger, and then there may be like a bird flying by, and like, oh, right? Like,
Oh,
amazing. It's just there's just this flow, right? Without labels, beliefs, whatever the fuck on it, right? It's just happening. And it may be intense, but is it really that intense in comparison to like because we're both going through it and there's no thing on it or whatever, like there's no judgment on it, but like if I take for myself for example, like I went to breakthroughs well, breakups breakthrough break up, that's interesting. Anyway, I'm going
that's
to
very interesting.
the mind seems is for the mind, it seems very interesting. So with breakups, like I've been suffering for long periods of time, right? Why? Because I there was the belief that it had to be different. Yeah, I was not able to let go. So in that sense, if you cling on to something, then you have to let go to have to let go. But if you, in that sense, don't cling on to it, and also not, then you also not have to let go because it just there just is. There's just things happening, and there's just a flow, and there's just words coming out of my mouth, and there's just things happening, and it's like, yeah, and it still feels very full, but also empty at the same time, right? It's all, and then there's love, and then there's sadness, and whatever. It's coming and going, yet there seems to be, and even that is saying too much, but yet there seems to be something that doesn't come and go, and it's here.
God, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. I believed that before, and I cannot now say that it is true or that it's not true because I don't know. Because that is just a word in that sense, even though it seems to be a very powerful one, right? Yet it is a word, and it is also if you believe in it, a belief. There may be people here that don't like to hear this. Yet, I don't know. And yet, that I don't know feels way more free than the it is so, right? Yeah. I did that before. Like, what is it actually? Stop.
Putting now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, I'm also um looking at the time, and I just want to check in with you. Like, do you feel like stopping soon, or do you feel like going on maybe until the first guest arrives and I will quit this and also come to your place because I want to see your face for real and join the party with you there. And it's like, oh, this is so amazing.
Yeah, I don't know right now. I don't know anything right now.
Is there anything that you want to say, name, ask?
Um, Somehow not. It's very strange. It's like I could think of a lot of questions. And at the same time, it's like, but what's the point? Something like that. How did you discover this?
A beautiful man friend named Emerson.
Emerson.
Emerson, yes.
And he's Indian.
No, 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 no. I just like I was at a party. Actually, okay, a little bit of the story. Um, because it's nice to talk about stories, right? It's just awesome to do. Just like poetry, it's just nice to, right? Words can be beautiful to play with. So, I was at what really happened, and I will do it shortly because we know we're rounding off. Um, is that I went to into a personal development session. But I know that there's also power in that because it seems to be. I don't even know, but it seems to be, right? Because what happened there is that I was like, I'm done. I'm done with feeling less free than I can be. I'm only going for ultimate freedom, whatever the fuck it takes, right? That was here. A week later, I was on a party. I met a beautiful man who told me about Emerson. And I was intrigued. Like I was like, and I normally don't really have that. And I like literally the same evening. That's most special thing because I cannot remember any moment that literally on the same evening I was like, okay, I'm gonna check this guy out, right? Like, although you hear about a lot of people, but I was like, I'm gonna check this guy out. And I think it was a week later of listening to some videos that it really hit me, and I was like, whoa, that right? And I also had a session with him, and because it was like it all doesn't make any sense anymore. That's what I was like. Like mostly the work that I did, right? The personal development thing, because it's like it's helping people um to go to the next step within the whole game. But if you see that through the illusion of the whole game in that sense, that there's nothing to get. In the practical sense, it can be, right? If you need money, you need money. It's as simple as that, right? Yet, in terms of the more psychological stuff and the existential stuff and all that, he's coming. Oh, okay. What is there to get, right? What is there to in the next and the past and right? And yeah. So from that, I was like, why do what I do? So there was a mostly confusion about that and like and yeah, I had a wonderful session with him and then and I said like the only thing that really makes sense is to ask questions like yours. Like and that's how I ended up here. And he was like, "All right, do that." Like with anyone who says that, I now know that he's like, "Okay, go do it." Like there's nothing in him that needs to hold on to like it's not his method, right? It's not his thing in that sense. There was even someone who said you got a patent. I don't know how you say that, but
Yeah,
you put it in a box so nobody can touch it. That's the thing, right? And
yeah.
he was like, "No, why? Like, no, anyone can do this. Yeah, anyone can use these questions." And I'm like, "Wow, that's the." I don't know if he literally said that, but he invites. What I know from him is that anyone who says this, he invites to do that, or he says he not even invites. He's like, "Yeah, if you want to do that, go do that." And and now this happened with you, like and I mean, it's just it's the most natural thing for me. And even with my method, it already felt very natural. But with this, it's the most natural thing to do for me because it just flows. Like, would you? Also, what we're doing? Like, I'm asking some questions, but we're enjoying time. Like, and I could do that with anyone, even if I don't know them. Like, just friends sitting together. Yeah. So I think I got to round it off because I know we're over time.
Yeah, there's no one here yet. So there is traffic.
Okay. You're sitting like, oh,
I have this mind that's somehow very fast sometimes.
hmm,
And then I lose something. And then I change my posture to kind of get re-engaged. Yeah, it's
what if you cannot actually really lose anything? What if that was just a thought? What if even that was just an idea?
I felt like I lost the track of your words, you know?
Ah, mm. Oh, in that sense, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe still it's a valid question, but like, what did I really lose? But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because in the end, like, and even in the end suggests future, right? It's like
in
I'm
the
hearing
end,
myself say like
in
blah blah blah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
I spend a lot of time in my daily life pretending that I'm heard everything when let's say, I missed a small part. So somebody is telling me something and I missed a small part.
yeah,
I'm pretending after that, like
yeah,
to really, I
yeah.
go with my head like this. And then,
Oh, me too, brother. Me too. Like, yeah. Because it feels quite vulnerable, right? Quite like, oh, I
yeah,
didn't listen well enough, like to say that I didn't hear everything. It's like, right?
yeah,
Do you have that, or what made you like,
yeah. It's like it's like a fear to hurt the feelings or something,
oh
or
yeah,
to show to give them the idea that I'm a spaced out guy who's not listening.
yeah,
Give them this idea, this image of myself,
yeah, yeah,
and I don't want to be faced with the shame around such an image
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
that,
would part of me would believe it's maybe true.
yeah, yeah,
So then I pretend.
yeah, yeah, pretend, yeah, yeah,
It's easier, but maybe not really, but it seems like.
yeah.
Sometimes people are talking very fast, I should interrupt them, like, oh, or something. People are talking, talking, talking. I interrupt, like, hey, wait,
Uh, and then they
stop.
go on and like, but I didn't get that part, but now I also didn't get this part. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Refocus, regroup, regroup.
regroup. Mayday, mayday.
Mayday, mayday.
Yeah. And what if that was all for the self-image, right? Because why would we do that, right? Like it was all an idea, all a created self-image and all a created, it was just an idea that we had to do it like that. Because otherwise also people may be hurt. But if you're authentically like, if you're there, right? Then you're there. We can pretend something else, but like, that's just what's there. And if someone has difficulties with that, yeah. I'm thinking about the Big Lebowski. Like, yeah, that's like your opinion, man. Even though feelings are not opinions, but anyway, that's the feeling that you are having. And yeah, if you're authentically you and you're not intending to hurt someone, right? Yeah.
It's true.
How can you even intend to hurt someone from this? Right. What if this could be the end? End, which is also a joke, involves time, but anyway, um, we seem to experience it like that, and whatever, right? But if this could be the end of, in that sense, the hurting in that sense, right? The hurting, the purposely hurting, right? Yeah. Because you can, like, involuntarily, or whatever we call it, right? You don't intend to hurt someone, but someone feels hurt. But anyway, if there's nobody here, what's then there? Just raw emotion, just energy, and even those are words. There's just something going on. They're like tears. There's water flowing here, and yeah, it feels quite. When I tear up, like it feels quite alive. While before I could tear up and it feels like really heavy, and now it can feel really light. Yeah, yeah. Already for quite some time. I'm glad to say that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Feels light to cry.
It can feel very light to cry, and yeah, a light. It can be intense, right? But intense is something different than heavy, right? So it can be intense and still kind of light, um, alive. Yeah, yeah. In a very strange but seemingly it comes up way connected to like my dad. Like not long ago, I was with him and he was standing behind a corner and he was like, I was like, oh, thank you for making me feel making me feel so alive. Like, Okay, there's this, but it also feels so alive, right? Even though there was also like, oh man, did you have to do this? And then there's also like, it's just this. Yeah. Maybe a little bit resistance there, right? Yeah. Whatever.
Even resistance, like that word, what does that mean, you know?
Yeah.
If there is a genuine experience there and you're telling this experience, your resistance, what are you really saying to
Hmm.
yourself or to parts that are alive, to alive parts or alive experiences? You're saying your resistance. Whoa.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It has a whole belief there.
Yeah. 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 It's just that. It's just that. And sometimes the mind comes up. Like just when you were talking right now, the mind came up with me. And I didn't hear a word. Like it literally happened. And normally before, I would have to protect something, right? Because sometimes, it's not that there are no thoughts anymore, right? Um, and it can be very easy to not go with them. And now it was difficult to not go with them, right? And uh, and I didn't hear a part. And normally I couldn't say this because it would feel like I have to hold on to something, right? And I'm like, okay, I didn't hear a part. So do you want to say something about the resistance thing? Because I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
And just what you want to say now, right? Like, yeah, yeah.
I want to. Thank you for asking. And what does it trigger in you or what, maybe it doesn't trigger anything, but how is it for you to to ask the question if I can repeat it?
It feels light. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel heavy anymore in that sense. If it would feel heavy, I could say it feels heavy. And yes, and yet, yeah, yeah,
I was saying if I have a feeling coming up, an experience that is alive, and I'm saying to that experience, I'm saying, you are resistance.
yeah, yeah,
What is that I'm saying, you know? If you're speaking to a child and a child really doesn't want to go to the supermarket with you, and you just say to him, you just have resistance.
Oh, that feels quite sad, right?
Yeah, but this is what we do with ourselves.
Yeah,
This is what we do constantly with ourselves from the prison of this whole prison that you've made of personal development. It's like, oh, I don't feel like doing this right now. Okay. I have resistance. Resistance. That means I should do it.
yeah,
So something that I don't want to do just became something
yeah,
I should do
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because I have resistance.
yeah,
Is that even true?
yeah.
Or is it just the feeling of I don't want to do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
But then we don't know. And that's even scarier. So we say it's
But then,
resistance.
but then we
Then
don't
we
what?
don't know. Then we don't know what we should do.
Yeah,
Feeling comes up, I don't want to do this. And you think, yeah, but maybe it's just resistance.
yeah, yeah,
And maybe
yeah,
not.
yeah.
And then we don't know.
Yeah.
And then we have to be with that not knowing.
Yeah.
And that's even more scary.
Yeah. But it seems to be more scary, um, theoretical. Theoretical, is that the word? Yeah, right. Yeah. Um, or like, or a presumed sense of it, right? It seems to be like something we go away, we want to go away from our whole lives, like that there's something. What if we feel a kind of emptiness that's there, right? A kind of not knowing, a kind of, what if all of that, all of the things that we hold on to fall away, and there's just like void or darkness or whatever, right? Can be that there's a sense, and maybe in dark moments, that a lot was falling apart or fell away or whatever, right? And we're like, oh, not that again, and then we just keep on to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and the red wheel goes, and we go on like on this red wheel like a hamster, to avoid what is actually, we cannot even give it names, but we talked about peace. You said also quietness,
Spaciousness.
spaciousness. Yeah. Yeah, and from there, there's just a flow. And you could even do the same things as you did before, right? Yeah. Reminds me of the quote, like, before enlightenment, carry water, chop wood, and after enlightenment, carry water, chop wood. But when we talk about enlightenment, oh no, like enlightenment, like that is like you got to be a Buddha, right? You got to be a Buddha or Jesus or whatever, right? To like that's not for like average or normal people or whatever, right? That is up there. Like the teachers who speak about it, right? On the pedestals. That's just up there. Like that's like a day, and they know. But what if nobody knows? And there's something here that cannot be. Yeah.
This makes me super calm. Just saying that. What if nobody knows?
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
everybody's just saying something. And it's not even just something for them, right? Because a lot of people, they believe it. Like I believe so many things. And then it becomes very real. It seems to be very real. But is it? What if it's just a thought? What if it's just a fart in your mind? Yeah. And
Art in your mind.
a fart in your mind. Yeah, because it doesn't have a consistency really. Right? It's just a thought.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I gotta like branded, brand this, like letting the farts out, like or like see through the farts.
See through the art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hmm. The good thing. of continuing this is also that the later it gets, the less traffic jam there will be when I drive to you and look you in the eye and be like, oh, this is beautiful. And whatever I'd be like, I don't even know what I'll be like. Maybe I'll cry when I see you. Whatever. Maybe I won't even arrive. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I will not be here.
Maybe you will be here and I arrive. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. And then life just becomes really light because like when not being focused on the result in that sense, you can just play with everything. There's not is there even waiting in that sense, right? Is there even yeah, yeah.
There's only waiting, or not at all, in a
Not at
way, I
all. Or
guess.
may yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Because then you have to be waiting for something. It's still in the future.
Yeah,
What are you
that's
waiting for? You know?
yeah.
Just do it. Just be it. This could be your slogan. Just be it.
But even being, that is something to do. That
Uh,
that that you be it. That is even like essentially I cannot give it any words because the words can also mislead because they're just words. And someone could be, oh, it's this, right? And now after this talk, it could be like, oh, it's the peace, it's the quietness, it's the spaciousness, right? But these are just words. It's not that. And it could be that it's also that, and it's also nothing, right? It is all. And yet, I don't know. And I will give it any words because how otherwise to bring this, right? Yet, what is there to be? There just is. And even that's saying too much.
there's a knock on the window.
All right. That's the cue.